Hi, I'm David Dusek here at Scottsdale National Golf Club in Scottsdale, Arizona, home of PXG, and I'm about to go through a driver, fairway wood, and hybrid fitting for the new Black Ox family of clubs. And I've got my man Greg Fairman here. He's going to be guiding me through the process. Really looking forward to hopefully finding a few more yards and a little bit more accuracy. So Greg, you've got your work cut out for you, buddy.
We'll get it dialed in.
All right. Okay, so walk me through what Black Ops is all about.
Okay, so Black Ops has a completely new chassis to it compared to our Gen 6 product. So we had a bunch of carbon fiber, a few different materials in the Gen 6.
Yep.
Now we got a full new chassis made of a few different polymers here for you.
Okay.
What really that means is some weight was saved on the crown, some weight was saved on the underside of the driver head here, and fairway woods and hybrids as well too.
Yep.
Gets repositioned further into the corners. Also, the center of gravity moves way lower and way further back into the head. So what that really gives us is higher launch conditions, lower spin conditions, and a totally new face material that we've kind of come up with in the design department. Usually when you find a material that is stronger across the board, it usually becomes a stiffer material. This is now stronger and more flexible. So it's kind of a big breakthrough on that. With that, you get much improved sound, you get much improved feel, higher launch, lower spin, more trampoline effect.
I also noticed you guys have had movable weights for a long time, but the fact that they're this far out around the perimeter is pretty striking. So that's going to really allow you to move, as a fitter, the center of gravity, I would imagine, draw bias, fade bias,
big
all
time.
kinds of things,
Yes,
right?
we can really minimize the amount of curvature we're going to see, really reposition weighting where you really need it to affect the ball flight the most, and having it this spread out, heel and toe and far back, really increases the forgiveness a ton, and really on off-center strikes, the stability of the actual face and head really stays where it's wanting to go.
Cool.
So
Let's give it a shot.
Yeah, let's give it a shot here, my man. Let's see it.
I love the sound right off the bat.
Little baby pull, but that's a good start.
Yeah.
146 ball speed. Holy cow! 1400 spin.
Not much.
Not much. 230, 262. Obviously, we need that launch angle up there for you for sure.
Okay.
But seeing that low of spin, that's obviously a phenomenal start. So let's get a couple more before we make any tweaks here.
Yeah.
Ooh, that'll do.
Yeah, that one might be
That'll
the
really
best of the lot.
That got launch up to 13.9. A little bit spinny. I was going to say, let's get...
So we like the initial launch angle, but we'd like to drop that 35-51 down.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw us into the tour head.
Okay.
That is just going to be a little bit lower
Tour
spin
head,
out
you
of the
said.
gates.
Tour head.
Head, yes, exactly.
Tour head.
A little bit deeper face compared to this one, not quite as long from front to back as well too.
By and large, that would lower spin.
Lower spin,
Okay.
ball speed up a little bit.
Okay.
I won't say it's less forgiving. It's just the weights are not quite pushed into the corners like this one is here.
Okay.
So let me grab that head.
These forward weights are pinched in closer.
Pinched in closer. What that does is get more weight right behind impact effectively. That should lower spin, increase ball
Potentially,
speed.
you're giving up a little bit of stability when you do that, just because like you've got the weights spread out
we're
more on the
moving
standard.
from weights here to weights here, right? So it's a little bit less stable on the off-center strikes. But obviously you're a pretty solid ball striker. I just want to bring that spin rate down here for you.
Solid ball striker.
Solid.
We definitely saw lower launch. Now, that felt like it was a little bit low in the face.
It sounded a little low heel to me. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if that's a little low heely one, that's still playable.
Exactly.
It didn't feel like nearly as solid a strike.
Exactly.
And the numbers all bear that out.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
Give me one more. Let's see if we get a better strike on.
That was better.
Yep, better strike. It's your usual little kind of curving left to right.
Yep.
Yeah, not doing it. We're not being efficient off.
Our delta is all over the place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's get out of that one. All right. So.
Delta basically means, folks, like the range of all of your shots. My best and my worst has got a big spread. And ideally, what I'd like to do in a fitting is try and find a club and work with my fitter, so that those two things are much more predictable, much more consistent. I don't want to have one that's going to be great and one that's really going to be the pits. You want to try and tighten that up, not just dispersion left, right, but your best and your worst you want to normalize as best you can. So now we've changed the shaft. We've gone from Fujikura Ventus black.
Yep.
And that was a 6X?
That was a 6X.
So we're still staying in 6X, but we've now gone to blue.
Yes.
10.5 degrees of loft. Have we been in 10.5 the whole time?
Stayed in 10.5 the whole time.
Okay.
Exactly. Yep. I always want to start with a shaft in its standard loft setup there for us.
So now
and we'll
what's
tweak
so
from
so
there.
basically this is the first driver head that we used.
Yes.
But we've changed the shaft a little
Yes,
bit.
gone back, we tried both heads with the Ventus Black.
Mm-hmm.
That shaft profile just not quite right for you. And this head in particular, just the amount of forgiveness that you get out of it on the off-center strikes. That's why I kind of went back to this one.
Now
here.
in the fitting process, when do you start deciding like, okay, like we've got the shaft we've gone, we're sort of dialed in here. You've got all this versatility here.
Yes.
This is last?
That's kind of the last step. 'Cause once
fine-tuning.
we really get the engine figured out here that drives the machine, then I'm going to start fine-tuning with this to really, really, dial it in there for you.
Gotcha, let's give it a hit.
Yeah.
Oh, right underneath it.
There we go. You can see that
That
coming
one
out
works.
in a much better window.
That's what we're looking for right
Exactly. Yeah, that's a much better launch angle window. That was 13 launch. That's phenomenal.
there. 13?
Yep, 13. Ooh, yeah. See, a little bit spinny.
So we're still spinny.
So the reason we're seeing that, we're getting down on it pretty good.
Yeah.
2.5 down on it. That's going to be a little bit spinny there.
Yep.
Path getting a little left. That's where our little.
We're
baby
not
fade
surprised,
comes
yeah.
from. Give me one more solid with that. I'm going to go a little bit different shaft
Okay.
again here. So I'm going to go into a graphite design next.
Okay.
Very similar profile in what it does.
All right.
Again, we're going to try to find something that times up and kills some of that spin there.
Sounds
you,
good.
Right? We have a 10.5 head. I just put it to the small plus setting. So basically that kicks us up to 11 on the loft, but it's two birds, one stone. Yes, a little bit higher loft for a little bit higher launch conditions, but that physically turns the toe in a little bit, kind of anti-right, if you will.
Okay.
So two birds, one stone. Let's see how that
See how it plays, yeah.
combination goes here.
Never played an 11-degree driver before, but it actually makes sense in some ways because oftentimes when you're working with hosel mechanisms, as you're changing the loft, you're also simultaneously changing the face angle. So typically, when you are closing the face angle towards your path, you're going to be adding loft, which is basically what we're just doing here. Sometimes if you want to take loft off, you're essentially going to be getting the club face to be pointing more to the right. So it's sort of a counterintuitive thing. Why, since I'm hitting the ball up and bleeding it right, would you increase the loft? It's a face angle play in this case. I'll tell you what, it's a subtle thing. The face immediately looks like it's pointed left. Like it's as subtle as that change is, the club immediately looks like it wants to go left.
Yep.
Which, in my case, bleeding right wouldn't be such a bad thing. That
that's
is
trying.
mashed.
That was hit really well. Yeah.
That was the straightest ball flight of any of the shots we've hit today. It might be a little bit high in terms of the input, but
Yeah, a little bit.
attack angle zero, so I'm coming in dead
That was-
flat. It's not ascending or
Yes.
descending, it's dead flat.
14 launch angle out of that. Yep.
Still a touch spinny.
Touch spinny, leaving the face open just a hair. Just we saw that little baby bleeder fade there.
Yep.
All right. So
231 carry, 250 total.
Yep.
If we can bring this 38 down,
Exactly.
then there's probably another 5 or 7 yards
I'd
easy of
say
carry.
for sure. Yes. So next thing I'm going to do, I'm liking what the shaft is doing in terms of smash factor for you.
Okay.
Basically, to the
Smash
left.
factor is
Yes.
is basically a ratio of club head speed to ball speed. The USGA and the RNA cap it at 1.52. That means if you have a 100-mile-an-hour club head speed, you are not allowed to have your driver create more than 152 miles an hour of ball speed.
Yes.
And that smash factor, elite players are living in that 1.5, 1.51 range. PGA Tour players, you can't be a PGA Tour player if you don't have a smash factor with your driver like that. It usually goes down as you work your way through the bag. But even recreational golfers, if you're slower speeds, you want to hit the ball as efficiently as you can. Smash factor is a really good indicator of how well you're striking the ball and how much you're getting out of your club head speed.
So when we started, I had a 12.5 gram weight in the back,
Okay.
2.5 heel and toe. I'm adding 5 grams to the heel
Okay.
for you, again, to help square up
Turn
that
it over.
face. Every time we square the face up, our spin's going to come down.
Okay.
For sure.
And by adding, I was going to say, and by adding more weight forward,
Yes.
that is also going to. So not only
Also.
are we getting the draw benefit, but
Exactly.
the CG has been pushed forward
Yep.
just a little bit too.
So it's probably not the exact spot, but let's just say we were about right here with our CG. We're
Yep.
moving that kind of slightly forward and slightly further heel side.
Well, that's the flight. I mean, I would love to
Yep.
have.
Ooh. Ooh.
That was a pull, but boy, that's the flight we're
Little
looking
pull,
for,
but
isn't it?
wow. Yeah. Ooh. I love that that's allowing you to
It really feels like you
release
can come
it and turn it
through.
over. Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming through better.
Drop down to 2870.
My God, we
230.
got a positive attack angle.
Yes, we
Now, it was
did.
almost a full degree, but every little bit helps. Every little bit helps.
Ball speed up, smash up, perfect launch angle again.
Spin down.
Spin down.
So look at the front edge of the ball and then fire away.
Oh,
It's high, but it's dead straight.
Yes, it
and I
is.
would be more than happy with that every day.
look at you, 1.8 degrees up on the ball.
You know,
Look at
it's
that.
just shot maker in me.
250 carry, 269 total.
Best drive of the day.
That's
Club
really,
head
really
speed
good.
went up just a touch.
Yep.
The
Well, we
launch
got more
angle,
weight behind it, right?
the launch angle went up, which makes sense because
We swung up on it a little bit
we
better.
swung up on it.
Yep.
If we kept all those dynamics the same and somehow we're able to take that 3200 and bring it down to like 2800.
Exactly. Then that's really
Now,
where you completely
I'm not,
max out.
as an 11 handicap, you're never going to hear me complain about 250 carry, 268 total, like in real life, not just
Yes.
what people say on the internet.
Yep.
Yeah, that felt great.
That was really good. The only thing to
We're still
really,
going
to
out.
really kill that,
We're still going out to in heavily.
yeah, just getting across at about 9 degrees.
Yep.
Right.
No, and
But that's a really cool thing to see, a ball that maybe faded a yard or two
well, essentially
off
what
of 9 degrees
right.
left.
Essentially, what that means that path of negative 9 degrees means that I'm coming from out to in that much, which should create either a dead pull if I square the face to the path,
Yep.
or, which most people do, have an open face with that kind of path, which means you're going to have a hard slice. That ball went dead straight, which
Yes.
means that this weight,
Moving
that 10
weight.
gram, really shut the face and did its job because I would take that drive every day.
Yeah, so I think we found the driver head for you, the Black Ops 0311, the non-tour version there for you, because we get the added forgiveness, weight further in the corners, all that fun stuff. We ended up adding some weight in here to the heel for you, moving that center mass forward and more heel side to help the fade miss. Ended up in this graphite design XC6X there for you, fits really nicely between the Fujikura Ventises that we've been trying. For you, it times up kick point wise, killed spin, straightened everything.
Awesome.
Yeah,
We got it.
Looks really good.
Cool.